looking at the elements and principles of science. Wait, no. Art. Wait, no. Science. Wait. Henry, did you seriously put that in the script? If anybody fails this test, it's your fault. Okay, so to get the whole thing started, we're going to be talking about the elements and principles of art. Not science, art. Okay, so to get this whole thing started, we're going to start with elements. Do you even take art? Never mind. Amanda, you start this whole thing off. I have a score to settle. Someone here.
Okay, well, I guess I can just start with line. Yes, line. There are 5 kinds of line, and the first of these, which we will be discussing, is horizontal and vertical.
And see, I drew some horizontal and vertical lines on my fingers just to show you how much I care. But anyway, then there are curved and diagonal lines. And again, believe it or not, I drew some curved and diagonal lines just to show you how much I care. Anyway, finally, there are zigzag lines. Henry, please do not mess this one up. So anyway, those are zigzag lines, and just again to show you how much I care, I drew some zigzag lines on my fingers. Moving on, I would like to note that lines can have different weight, just like you, Henry. And different variations of lines, different weights of lines, convey different feelings. For example, a thicker line can convey a more heavy feeling, whereas a broken or dashed line creates a more furry texture.
Now I will proceed to tell you about shapes. Henry, could you give me the script? Okay, so there are 2 kinds of shapes. Organic and geometric. If you were ever in geometry, you might be able to conclude that geometric shapes have geometric-like properties. Okay. Geometric shapes are normal shapes like circles, triangles, squares. Yeah. And organic shapes are made from pesticide-free veggies and... What? Oh wait, wrong page. That was for the Green Giant commercial. Excuse me. Okay. Organic shapes are irregular shapes, usually found more often in nature, so...
Think flowers and leaves.
Not circles and rectangles.
Butterflies and clouds.
Not triangles and pentagons.
This is a geometric shape. This is an organic shape.
Now that you know what shape is, Meta can lecture you about form, which is just a fancy name for...
Hey, let the expert do the talking. This job is not for amateurs. I took 5 whole minutes of online searching for this moment. You know how hard that is? Anyway, form is just a 3D version of shape, really. And again, in form, there are 2 kinds. That is organic and geometric. Organic form is really all the irregular forms, like all that butterfly magic and curvy swirly stuff and prettiness of nothingness. Then geometric form is basically just like cubes, pyramids, spheres, all that good geometry stuff that you would find in math. Hooray for form! Now, it just so happens that as I was about to give you a fun little short sweet talk about color, Christine here decided to be all like, I'm gonna talk about form! Yay!
Who majored in ology in elementary school? Yeah, that was me. And you're the supposed wise guy on form, so if I remember correctly, form and color are not the same thing, so I suggest you just sit and listen to me.
So color is that magic stuff that comes out of markers and colored pencils and everything. But In art, we like to make things all nice and categorized. There are 3 basic colors that cannot be mixed using other colors: red, blue, and yellow. These are known as primary colors. Upon these 3 colors, there are millions of combinations that can be presented using just a varied amount of these 3 hues.
Excuse me, madam, but I don't think the children understood the last sentence you just uttered. So, if you care, I'm going to simplify it for them. Basically, all she said is that you can mix all the colors ever just by using the 3 primary colors. So, now I'll hand it back over to you, madam, majoring colorology or whatever it was that you majored in. Because honestly, I don't really care.
Green, purple, and orange are secondary colors, which mean they can be derived from 2 primary colors, and then there are tertiary colors. Anyways, so intermediate colors are mixed by a primary color and secondary color that are not opposites, which means they're usually next to each other on the color wheel. So an example would be red-violet, which is a mix of red and violet, or purple, if you don't like to use special terminology.
Tertiary colors.
Stop it, Henry, I didn't say 2D colors. See why I worry about the future of this generation?
Complementary colors like these are opposite on the color wheel, and the color wheel is another magnificent invention I do not have time to tell you about because of someone. Analogous colors are next to each other on the color wheel, and monochromatic means you add black and white to a certain color. Okay, so now attention Hogmeda will talk about value.
Yes, attention Hogmeda would like to talk about value, but if only Smartlet Christine would stop butting in. Well, anyway, value is basically just how light or dark something is, and yeah, that's about all I can tell you about value.
I thought Attention Hogmeda knew more about value than that.
So did Attention Hogmeda, but who cares? Okay, Smartlet Christine, you have to talk about space now. Henry, please mess her up on this.
Space is the sense of distance, or frankly, space in a picture. God dang it, Henry. Stop it.
Anyways, by making objects different sizes, and by overlapping objects and adjusting the change in detail, an artist or photographer can create a very strong sense of space. Made up.
Hold on, my juice isn't finished. Okay, now, what were you on?
Hello, it's your turn.
Okay, so texture can be soft or slimy or smooth or roughy or... Wait. Roughy isn't a word. Henry?
This unicorn is smooth.
You should really consider proofreading wherever you are. Anyway, what I meant to say was rough, really. In art, texture is just showing what something feels like, whether it be soft or rough or smooth or non-smooth, forget the hard, soft, whatever, just any kind of texture whatsoever.
Next are the principles of art. Or science. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's art. So the principles of art basically take the elements and apply them to a picture in a particular way. Like the principle of contrast. Contrast is when there's a difference between 2 things in art. Maybe it's shape, maybe it's color, maybe it's light. Or unicorns.
Here, the colors are contrasting. And here, the contrast is dark and light. Oh yeah, I remember taking these pictures. My neighbors screamed at me to get out of their yard or something.
Next, we move on to something very similar to contrast, emphasis. They seem like the same thing, but they're actually slightly different. Emphasis is usually just like emphasizing a focal point. So in contrast, we were just making things look different from one another. In emphasis, we're making one thing stand out from everything else, just as I stand out from all my co-movie people.
Yes, I know. The pictures are the same. I get it. But they both use contrast and emphasis. Now, Christine, you get to talk about, what was it? Porcupines? Sea dogs? Drowning fish?
No, it was rhythm. Okay, so when you think of rhythm, I don't want you to think of this.
As I take your hand and lead you to the dance floor. As the music dies, something in your eyes calls to mind a silver screen and all its sad goodbye.
This is rhythm. Duh.
Okay, so the thing I get to talk about now, similar to what my crazy friend Christine here talked about, is movement. In movement, basically, the picture doesn't move, sadly enough. Instead, it's really about how your eye travels from one part of the picture to another. Light can help with this effect. So can contrast sometimes. But there are several ways that you can convey movement. It's not really a feeling. It's more of movement that occurs, if you know what I mean.
Next is unicycle. Unity. Unity is what ties a picture together. Usually using similar repetitive shapes helps accomplish this effect.
So, unity is really tying everything together, but balance is really what keeps it balanced.
Are you posing?
No, I'm balancing! Is Henry talking to me? Anyway, balance is really how a picture looks in comparison. Like, each element in the artwork should balance out another element somewhere. And there are different kinds of balance. Unfortunately, this time I couldn't draw my fingers here, so you're just going to have to figure out it yourself with the pictures. Have fun! And asymmetric and symmetric balance.
And here, despite the bamboo and pot not being identical, the picture seems balanced and not weird. As you can see, the two hands balance one another out.
Christine, where are you?
Getting myself a Slurpee.
Ooh, get me one too. Cherry, I'll pay you back later. Okay, well, as it seems that Christine is getting us both Slurpees.
Who said anything about getting you a Slurpee? This is all mine.
Okay, well, as it seems that Christine is getting herself a Slurpee, selfish little girl that she is, I am going to have to fill in for her. Okay, well, the next thing on our list happens to be pattern. Quite self-explanatory. Pattern is pretty much how some component of the artwork is repeated, or at least feels like it is repeated.
Oh, hi, did you finish pattern?
No, I just stood here and worshipped your absence. That's what I always do when someone's gone.
Oh, well, in that case, pattern is how some...
No, you wise guy, I already did it. You've got to do proportion now.
Just use one of the previous photos. I did a lot. Ish. Do you know how hard my job is? They didn't get me a bendy straw.
Fine, then it looks like I'm doing proportion. What a lazy bone she is. Okay, proportion in an artwork just basically means how things look in comparison to one another. It has to do a lot with ratios and, like, if you have one thing here and another thing farther away, obviously the farther away thing is going to be smaller if they're the same size. Am I even making sense? How about I ask Henry? Do you use proportions in math, Henry? Just as I thought. He meant to say yes. What are you talking about? So that's proportion for you. Now it is your turn.
What are you talking about? We finished.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. Bye. mind blown.
Well, then we should like really do a big finish or something.
We could do a big musical number and then listen to Norwegian black metal while uploading this video.
Or we could just put together a blooper like credits page.
Yeah, that'd be good. Besides, it's 2 right now, so that means it's time for my Minecraft games.
Oh my gosh, same here!